Hey coin friends, welcome back to MY Channel Coin Purchaser. Today we've got a classic from Pocket Change that hides surprising stories and a few secret values. The 1980 Washington Quarter. If you've ever shaken out a handful of quarters and wondered whether any of them could be worth more than face value, this episode will show you exactly what to look for, from plain circulated coins to rare era varieties that can fetch serious money. Stick around. By the end you'll know the exact mintage, how to spot the valuable errors, what collectors pay today, and how to buy or sell safely. Most 1980 quarters are common and worth between face value and a few dollars, but a few coins, especially uncirculated high-grade examples and certain era varieties, have sold for dozens or even hundreds of dollars online. We'll show you real examples and the exact traits that make them valuable. Let's go. The Washington Quarter design, featuring George Washington on the obverse and the eagle on the reverse, was introduced in 1932 and continued with that eagle reverse through 1998. The 1980 piece is simply the regular Denver minted strike of the 1980 Washington Quarter. It's a copper-nickel clad coin struck for circulation, widely used in change during the 1980s and beyond. The D stands for Denver, the mint that produced this issue. The 1980 series also includes Philadelphia, P, Denver, D, and San Francisco Proof, S coins. The Washington Quarter design is a long-standing American staple. By 1980, the U.S. Mint was producing quarters in huge quantities to meet everyday commerce demand. The 1980 series is notable because mintages were large across the board and because collectors pay attention to a handful of unusual variants and errors from this era, things like doubled dies, filled mint marks, and other minting anomalies. The coin's history isn't dramatic, but its ubiquity makes it a fantastic hunting ground for small rarities and attractive uncirculated specimens. Because the Denver mintage exceeded 518 million, most 1980 quarters you find in Pocket Change will be common and circulated. Circulated coins show wear to varying degrees, from light bag marks to heavy smoothing on high points. Circulated 1980 quarters are usually worth face value or sometimes a small premium to collectors who need a particular date for their sets. If you want one for a typeset, a circulated example will often do the job. Most 1980 quarters in circulated grades typically trade at or just above face value. General online price guides and recent market sales put circulated values in the neighborhood of a few cents up to about $1, depending on where and I appeal. For up-to-date price checks, big reference guides like NGC list circulated coins in modest ranges. Auction and dealer listings have shown MS65 examples selling in the low 10s to low 20s, and extremely high-grade pieces, MS66+, becoming rarer and commanding higher prices. Price guides show the overall mint state top-end value stretching up to a few $100s for exceptional grades and certified specimens. Price guides and auction histories list a typical range for 1980 circulated to uncommon mint state from roughly 30 cents up to $220 for exceptional certified specimens. The upper end depends heavily on exact grade and certification. Remember that most everyday examples will be at the low end, while the extreme high numbers reflect rare, certified, near-perfect coins. Sometimes the mint mark area or letters become filled with grease or debris during striking, making the D look weak or partially missing. Collectors search for these filled mint mark examples because they're visually distinct. Marketplace listings show filled mint mark examples selling for prices well above typical circulated coins, sometimes dozens to low hundreds of dollars depending on severity and demand. Doubling on the obverse or reverse caused by hub/die problems can be valuable if the doubling is strong. Some online guides and recent discussions note that strong doubling on a 1980 quarter can push value into the tens or more for collectors seeking die varieties. These are typically rarer and priced case by case. Even small off-centers can draw collector attention. eBay and specialized Eracoin dealers list such pieces with wide price variance. A normal 1980D quarter next to a filled D and a double die. Point out the exact area to inspect, the mint mark, the letters in I in God we trust, and the rims/fields for off-center or doubling. Recent online listings show MS65 certified 1980D quarters offered in the low tens of dollars on auction sites, while rare error examples or unusual certified pieces have sold in the tens to hundreds. For example, PCGS/auction records and eBay listings reflect typical sale prices for MS65 graded examples at roughly $20 to $40 in retail/auction settings, and Eracoins with distinct filled mint marks or strong doubling have sold for higher sums depending on rarity and collector interest. Always check multiple sources and auction records for the tightest picture of current market value. Circulated coins will be dull or have friction. Look at Washington's cheek, hair, and the eagle's breast. These are the first spots to wear. Small contact marks lower the grade. Collectors pay premiums for coins with fewer marks. On 1980 quarters, the D is near Washington's neck. Check for filled mint marks or doubling. Use a loupe 10x to inspect letters I in God we trust, Liberty, and the profile for doubling. If a coin looks exceptional, consider submitting to a professional grading service. Certified grades often fetch higher prices and are easier to sell to serious collectors. Give practical, transactional advice. Buying, for casual collecting, circulated examples from dealers or rolls will fill typesets. For investment/specimen pieces, buy certified coins from reputable dealers or auction houses. Compare PCGS, NGC price guides and completed sales on auction platforms. Check photos carefully and ask about return policies. Selling, local coin shops or bulk buy buyers are fine, but expect near-face prices. For high-grade or error coins, present clear photos and provenance, and list on auction sites or specialized marketplaces. Consider third-party grading to maximize price. Always disclose any cleaning or alterations. Cleaned coins lose collector value. Don't clean coins. Cleaning drastically reduces value. Don't assume a coin is rare just because it looks funny. Have it examined or compared to authoritative photos. Don't use just one price guide. Cross-check PCGS, NGC, auction results, and active marketplace listings. Typical circulated 1980D Washington quarter, usually face value to about $1 depending on condition and local demand. Low dollar to low tens range. Tens into the low hundreds depending on exact grade and certification. Price guides show upper range figures up to a few hundred for exceptional pieces. Values vary widely. Some have sold for dozens to hundreds depending on severity and demand. Show the host with a loupe inspecting a 1980D quarter. Walk through spotting a filled mint mark and a small doubling example. Encourage viewers to pause the video and inspect coins in their wallet. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1980D Washington quarter, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. More coin dives are on the way. Drop a comment with what year or era you want me to hunt next. And hey, if you find a 1980D with a weird mint mark or doubling, take a clear photo and tag us on. We'll feature great finds in our next video. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered whether it is just pocket change or a hidden treasure? Today we are diving deep into one of the most common but surprisingly interesting coins you can still find in circulation, the 1983D Washington quarter. We will cover its full history, what makes it special, how much it is worth today, rare error varieties to watch for, how collectors grade these coins, and how to spot the ones that might be worth a lot more than 25 cents. Stay to the end and I'll show you the exact features that can turn a regular quarter into a collector's prize. The 1983 D Washington Quarter is a Denver minted example of the Washington Quarter series that uses the classic John Flanagan obverse portrait of George Washington and the eagle reverse that was used from 1932 through 1998. In 1983, the Denver Mint struck a very large number of these quarters, making them common in everyday circulation. The massive mintage means most 1983 D quarters are worth face value unless they are in exceptional uncirculated condition or show a collectible error. The official Denver The obverse features the familiar profile of George Washington sculpted by John Flanagan, a design first used in 1932 for Washington's bicentennial. The reverse displays a perched eagle with outstretched wings, a design used on business strike quarters for decades before the 1999 State Quarters series. From 1965 onward, Washington quarters were struck in a clad composition of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The 1983 D quarter follows the same copper-nickel clad format, which means it is not silver and its intrinsic metal value is close to face value. Price guides and catalogs list these as copper-nickel clad business strikes. 1983 sits inside a long run of Washington quarters used every day across the United States. By the early 1980s, the U.S. Mint was producing quarters in the hundreds of millions every year to satisfy commerce and the changing economy. The 1983 issues do not mark a design change, but they do reflect the era of high-volume modern minting where most coins are common. High mintages like 617 million for the Denver strike mean that pure rarity is generally not present, but that does not mean the year is boring. Two things make coins like the 1983 D interesting to collectors. First, survivability. Because so many were made, many exist in all grades from heavily worn to pristine mint state. Second, errors and unexpected striking anomalies. Even in high mintage years, rare minting errors can create substantial collector demand. Grading basics: collectors judge coins using a standard grading scale. Circulated grades include good, very good, fine, very fine, extremely fine, and about uncirculated. Mint state grades begin at MS60 and continue to MS70 as the technical perfect mark. Each step up in grade usually increases a coin's value, and for a common modern quarter that premium becomes meaningful once you reach the higher mint state numbers like MS63, MS64, MS65 and above. On the obverse, check the hair details above Washington's ear, the cheek and jaw definition, and the fields for scratches. On the reverse, check the eagle's feathers and the rims for wear. Coins with original luster, full strike and no contact marks fetch the best prices. For a standard circulated 1983 D quarter in everyday change, you can expect a value of face value 25 cents to a few dollars depending on condition and eye appeal. For coins in uncirculated mint state, common price guides and auction records place typical values as follows. Uncirculated mint state grades like MS60 to MS63 typically sell for a few dollars each. Higher mint states such as MS64 to MS65 can range from about low tens of dollars to around mid tens of dollars depending on demand and market. Price guide listings and auction archives show price guide values in the ballpark of around $30 to $40 for higher certified mint state examples, and auction records show actual sales spanning from very low amounts all the way up to several hundred, or occasionally more for unusual circumstances. For instance, a standard PCGS price guide entry for a 1983 D at higher collectible grades lists values around the mid-tens of dollars. Auction records from trusted auction houses show this coin has sold in the past at prices ranging from single digits to over $1,000, but those higher numbers usually correspond to error coins, exceptional provenance, or very high grades. Even in a common year like 1983, mint error coins can be rare and valuable. Collectors hunt for off-center strikes, filled or missing mint marks, doubling, diode breaks, and other anomalies. Some 1983 quarters have turned up with filled minmark errors, off-center strikes, doubled die features, or other striking problems that obscure the D minmark or alter the appearance of the design. These error coins have been known to sell for hundreds of dollars when clearly visible and well documented. Online marketplace listings and recent sales include error examples from 1983 reaching a few $100s depending on the severity and eye appeal of the error. Always remember that properly graded and authenticated error coins command the highest prices. Look at the small d next to the truncation of Washington's neck. If it looks flat, partially filled, or unusually soft, it could be a filled minmark. Filled minmark errors occur when debris or grease fills the minmark recess during striking. Die cracks and die breaks. Look for raised lines or blobs of metal on the obverse or reverse that do not fit the design. Some die breaks are dramatic and sought after. Doubling looks like a second, slightly offset impression of letters or devices. Doubled die varieties can be subtle or dramatic. Auction houses and reputable grading services show that most 1983 D quarters sell for low amounts when circulated, while high-grade certified pieces and authenticated errors achieve higher prices. For example, auction archives show past sale prices across a wide range from single-digit sale prices for circulated coins up to mid-hundreds for error pieces or high-grade examples that were exceptional. It is important to use trusted auction houses and grading services when buying or selling to be sure you have accurate provenance and grade verification. Never clean a coin. Cleaning destroys the surface and often reduces the collector's value drastically. If you find a coin that looks special, do not scrub or polish it. Use a magnifying glass or a 10x jeweler's loupe. Use a soft pad and good light. A loupe helps you inspect the date area, the mintmark, and fields for damage or oddities. If the coin looks uncirculated with original luster, or if it appears to have a clear and collectible error, consider submitting it to a reputable third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication. The grading fee should be weighed against the estimated market value before submission. If you have a candidate coin, use established auction houses, coin dealers, or certified online auction platforms. Avoid selling rare coins through casual channels without verification because unscrupulous buyers may underpay. Compare recent auction results for similar grade and error types. Use price guides as a baseline and auction records as reality because guide values are suggestions and auction sales are what buyers actually paid. Coins with original luster and very high grades command premiums. Coins with documented and attractive errors also command premiums. Conversely, cleaned, scratched, or poorly stored coins lose value quickly. If you are holding an ordinary circulated 1983 D Washington quarter, its exchange value is 25 cents. If your coin is in uncirculated condition, typical price guide values for collectible mint state coins are often in the low tens of dollars for commonly graded examples and can reach around $30 to $40 or more for higher certified examples depending on grade and market at the moment. Exceptional error coins can fetch from a few $100s to much more when the error is dramatic, authenticated, and well documented. Remember that price guides list suggested values and auction sales can vary. Recent price guide and auction databases put higher mint state guide values in the mid-tens of dollars range, while auction records show sales spanning from small dollar amounts up to much larger sums for rare or error specimens. 1983 D Washington quarters are common in circulation. Most are worth face value unless in high mint state or show a collectible error. The Denver mintage for 1983 is 617-806. For 46. Look for filled minmarks, off-center strikes, doubling, and die breaks for value. Use a loupe, do not clean the coin, photograph it. And consult auction records or reputable grading services before selling. If you found this useful, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you do not miss the next treasure hunt video. I love hearing about coins you find, so drop a photo in the comments or tag me on social and I will check it out. If you want an episode where I grade a handful of your coins live, say the word in the comments and I will pick some entries to examine.